everyone, Glenda Mollett here, and I'm stamping in my craft room with you today. We're going to make this card using the Mountain Air bundle with some of the Grace's Garden bundle things in it. So I'll just let you look at the recipe while I run and close the door. There we go. Sorry, otherwise you hear my furnace. And now I'm just going to make sure we're oriented properly on the computer. So we're using Night of Navy, Seaside Spray, and Soft Suede. And the Mountain Air bundle consists of the Mountain Air stamp set and the Majestic Mountain dies. And you can buy these together for a 10% discount. Good, everything is good. And we're also going to use some of the Grace's Garden bundle. We're going to use a stamp for the inside and then the die for the gate. And I'll show you how we do that. Make this look like this. It's kind of cool. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, inside. Yeah, there you go. Just the fence. Just the fence. So I'm going to use my Stamparatus to put I've used the Crackle stamp on soft suede cardstock using soft suede ink before I cut out the gate. So we'll do that now, and I've found that the Stamparatus works the best for doing this. So I've already done the one piece and cut it out. And here's the other piece. So just put that in there like that. And probably can't see that. Let's just move that. I'm going to ink up. We only need the middle of the stamp. I'm not inking the whole thing. But if you do, it's not a big deal. Okay, and then we're going to... Didn't mean to close it like that. Oh, apparently it fell. And then just give it a good all over push to get the Crackle image onto the cardstock. Slowly lift it up. Yep, that's good. There we are. I'll put my scrap paper back in there. And I'll put that out of the way. Since we don't need it again, I've already done my other piece. Okay. So to do the gate, we have this. We're going to cut 2 of these out of here. Crunch, crunch, crack. And use the brush to get little pieces out. And then this comes out quite easily. So there's 1 and 2, and I just need to cut 1 more. So this stamp set is called Reversible. It has, you can use stamp with both sides of the stamp. We're not going to today, but in another mountain card that I have, I've done it twice, and it's quite interesting. Let me show you. So I was experimenting. So this is what happens. So you stamp once with one side of the stamp, which gives you the definition, and then you flip the stamp over and it becomes solid, and then you stamp it and it lines up. Not exactly, so you have to let that part go. If you're OCD like me, it's going to take a bit. Okay, so to get the gate, so I want this one, I want to cut it off right at the top of these here, like this. And that gives me the centerpiece for the gate. And the other 2 are going to line up. So I'm going to cut this part off because we don't need that. of both of them. We don't need them this big either. And you could probably just use, oh no, you can't because it's wider than, I was going to say you could probably just use one other die cut, but if you see there's the center right there, because it is wider than just two of them. So then you take this and it slips right underneath there like that, and you attach it. So I'm just going to put a little bit of Tombow on there because I want to be able to move it if it's not exactly where I want it to be. There we are. You can line that up really well. And then do the same thing on this one. With a little bit of Tombow. Line that right up, just like that. Okay, now I'm going to let that dry because we don't need that for a little bit. So I'm just going to put it over to the side. Okay, so let's do the mountain part next with Night of Navy and ink it up really well. That piece from the gate out of there. And there's a die to cut these out too. Just stamping on just a piece of Whisper White. There we are. There's the mountain. Okay, so I'm going to cut this out because I need to lay it on to the card front so we can figure out where all the other little pieces go. So just die cut this out. Oh, it moved. Hang on. That would have been a disaster. All right, there we are. So there's the die cut. Now I'm going to get the front piece. And we have to do a lot of stamping on the front piece. So I just want to put this in place and do that. So that's where I want it, right about there. So I'm just going to move it up a bit and just put a little bit of a line, and then I'm going to put it down a bit and do a little bit of a line, and I'll erase those lines in a minute. That just tells me where I can do all the other stamping. Okay, there we are. So now this one is this part here, and I've stamped it twice. So ink it up, and I'm using Seaside Spray here. Give it a good inking. Make sure it's well inked, and I want to use it right side up, and I want to go above that line because I want the mountains to go over top of where that tree line is. So I'm just going to stamp it there like that. And now when I put this on, then the mountains are going to cover that tree line. But I want to stamp it once more the other way. So I ink up the stamp again. And these ones you have to be really careful to make sure you get good ink coverage because they are so big. Okay, now this one's going to go this way. And kind of right there. Just like that. And now the fence, when you put the fence on, it'll cover up that bottom, and it looks just like a, I don't know, side of a beach or something. All right, now there's this stamp. I like the definition side, which people have said looked a lot like Earth. Because this is a reversible stamp set, you can stamp this side, and I'll just show you what the difference is. So I'm inking up the reverse side, and it's solid. And then you have to clean it and flip it over. And there's the definition side. I like this side. I'm not particularly fond of that, but you could also go right over top of it and have it kind of definition on the off side. So that's what the reversible means. I like the definition side just because it's my card and I can. And if I want to have the world up in the middle of the air, I will. Okay, I'm going to put some clouds in. Let's take my scrap paper here. I can stamp part of the cloud off on the side. Like that. Now get my eraser. Just erase this right now while I think about it. And you can't see the other one where that long stamp was. So now, see, this is going to go over top here like this. You just have to be sure that you're up high enough to go over top of the trees like that, but down far enough that you cover up any holes. And you're going to see a little bit of trees, but I bet you didn't even notice when I first showed you the card, those two little trees hanging out there. You'd never notice. Okay, so that's that. And I'm going to put this on now because then I want to put the birds in, but I want to make sure the birds are in the right place. And to do that, you have to put the trees, the mountains on. I'm going to use a combination of glue and tape. Just because it takes so long to put the tape on in little tiny pieces up in the mountain peaks. This way it just goes faster. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that it's covered mostly at the top. Oops, 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 come on. Oh, it'll do. It will do. Now you just cut off any excess that's hanging over, like that. Okay, now I'm going to get the Knight of Navy and stamp a couple of sets of birds in there. This is a really teeny tiny stamp. There we are. There. That's all the stamping done. That didn't take too long, did it? Okay. Get the stuff out of the way. Itch my eye. And we'll put this right onto, put adhesive on this. And then before we put it onto the Knight of Navy, I'm going to cut a tree out of there. Okay, so now I have the Knight of Navy plate. There's two of these tree dies. They're both the same, I believe. And we're just going to cut a tree right out of the middle. Oops, popped my fence. I hope this is still going on. Yeah, the last video I did, it stopped in the middle. Okay, now you just have to play with this to get it out. There we are. Because see, it's got a lot of little pieces. And then I'm going to put it back in the machine and run it through upside down to cut all the little pieces out of the center, except that it just moved on me. Come on, stay. Sit, stay. So that got most of the little pieces out. Now I'll just take the last of them out. Probably would have been a good idea to put an adhesive sheet on the back of that, but oh well, too late now. So while I'm doing this, I'll just put some, the tree is flat, it's not popped up, so I'll just put some Tombow on it and let it dry for a couple of minutes while I do the rest of this. And when you're putting Tombow on, just pick the fat areas. To put the glue on. Okay. And I'm going to just put that off to the side. Alright, so now we can put this onto the Night of Navy. This bundle is really fun to play with. And I really want to do one where by the dock is on it. I think that will be really pretty. But I haven't got there yet. Sometimes there's not enough hours in the day. There we go. Now I'll get my card base. I'll just put it directly onto the card base. Like that. Make sure it's the right way up. And just put that right on there like that. Now this looks pretty just by itself, right? Won't have to add anything else, but we will. Okay, we'll add a tree, because now, see, the Tombow's gone clear, so now there's just a lot of little tiny glue dots. And I'm going to put it right there, like that. Oh, Friggle Rock. I forgot that I need to cut this first. So let's see, where shall we put it? Go put it right there. So I'm going to cut it in up this line here. And this is the line you would cut if you were going to cut the gate open. Okay, so that one will go right there. And then this one, I'm going to cut right on the edge of this. Let's see, make sure that works. That works. Good. All right. Now comes the fun part. Strips of dimensional because I want to pop my gate up. Now you don't have to pop your fence up if you don't want your fence popped up. That's fine. Just have to have skinny strips so it doesn't show through. Skinny strip for that, so I'll just pop a couple of full-size minis in there like that. And a couple of full-size minis in there. Now I want some along the bottom too. There. Put that right there. I think I'll put one more little piece right on the bottom here. Okay, let's see how that goes. Oh no, that needs another piece right there. But I might be able to get away with a mini in there. Yeah, put a mini in there. Okay, I'll put it over the other way, and then I just test it to make sure. Okay, looks like it's going to be okay. Now we get to take all the little pieces off, the liners. Time-consuming and tedious, but fun. 'Cause I like the dimension that these foam dots, also called dimensionals, also called pop dots. I like the dimension that it gives your card. You may have noticed that this card does not have a sentiment on it because every once in a while we can make cards that don't have sentiments. Good, there it is. And see, you can, if you look close, you can see that those are trees, but if you don't look close, you can't tell they're trees. So that's the whole card. Now we'll stamp the inside piece, which is soft suede and part of the gate stamp. So I need my scrap paper here. It's up there. Scrap paper in here. Get the stamp. Oh, apparently that's not the stamp I used on the other one. I used this one, and we're using this one. It's nice to be different. There we go. And the envelope. Just do the same thing. Oh, didn't get that inked well enough, but that's okay. So there we go. We'll just put the inside in, and then we're done. And that's all 4 club cards done. And the only thing I have left to do is the O in home. I haven't quite got that perfected yet. So it'll come. Hopefully soon. Because I have to get these in the mail tomorrow to the out-of-town people. So that's my project for today. Get the videos done, get the kits done, and then finish my O. My O and home. Come on, let go. There we are. So there's the two cards, and this is the difference from the inside. I just took that small stamp and did it 3 times, and this one has the half of the full stamp on it. There we go. So what do you think? Kind of cool, eh? I love this Mountaineer bundle. And you can do so much with it. Because apparently, and I haven't tried it yet, but let's give it a try. Because I think this would be really neat to do. I need a strip of Whisper White. Because I want to try something. I want to stamp. And if this doesn't work out, then oh well. What better place to try than on a video with my favorite crafty people. Alright, so we're going to ink this up and stamp it like this. Then I'm going to clean it. And get my Versamark. Make sure this is dry because otherwise the Versamark will stick where I don't want it. And then ink it up with Versamark. I'm going to put snow on the hills. Go right back over top where you just did your stamping with the Versamark. And get the shimmery white embossing powder. I'm off a little bit, but that might be to our benefit because apparently this shimmery white embossing powder covers it a lot. Okay, I'm just getting my heat gun. Well, this is going to get noisy for a couple of minutes while I do the embossing. And I can't do it in front of you because my cord is not long enough. Oh, wait a minute. I'll just move it. Okay. Now I'm going to lift it up because I don't want to heat my foam. And just do the cooking part. Can you see it start to turn there? Whoa, isn't that pretty? Oh, look at that. But you can't do it over top of the blue like that. So now what would happen if we turned it over and maybe stamped with Seaside Spray? Probably have to do this beforehand. Now this doesn't line up exactly. You have to move it along a bit till it lines up, sort of lines up. So I'm just going to go a little bit below. See if this will stamp in behind that white. Oh, Isn't that awesome? Okay, now, if we took the Versamark, remember that one I did before? This one? Let's try this one. I know I probably shouldn't be doing this on a video, but you guys need to see this too. So I'm just going to stamp in Versamark. And the shimmer white embossing powder. Then close it, because I can't tell you how awful it is when you use your heat gun and that's open and it gets in the way. I'm just going to do this on the block because my fingers got a little warm last time. There it is. Oh, look at that. Isn't that exciting? Holy Aunt Jemima. Now, if I was to do this, I wouldn't put the dark Night of Navy definition stamp on there. I would just use Versamark and then the stamped off Night of Navy. Just look at that. Oh my God. Ouch. Okay, I'll turn that off. Look at that. Just look at that. Look. And you can see the bling because that embossing powder's got bling in it. Oh my, wouldn't that have been lovely? Let's cut that with the die and see what it looks like cut out. Oh, might have to create a card now. Oh, look at that. Where's my card? There they are. Oh, look at that. Oh, isn't that amazing? Look. Look. Oh. Okay, well now you know how how I'm addicted to bling. Anyways, there's the two cards. Thanks for indulging me in my little experimentation. I'm so glad you joined me. I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye for now.